Hey, it's me Hrishikesh, Kannan, popularly known as Hrishikesh. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon now to get the latest videos and get taken into a world of entertainment, culture, sport, business and current affairs.
So you're saying that cockpit was actually like that, there
Yeah,
was also.
that's what I was
because
trying to
my
tell you.
question to you was, next question was the hydraulics, because when you see that plane move the way it is, I'm wondering how
I
you
mean,
did that.
and putting something about 20-25 tons on hydraulics is quite a.
So everybody was shaking inside.
Of course,
It was
of course.
moving.
Yeah.
Yes, it was moving. It was moving in every which way.
Wow.
Even going like this, front and down, and the cockpit, we had all actual equipment, and they were all fed in whatever you would see on screen. All the machinery work, as in if you're on 35,000 feet and the wind speed is this, it's headwind. Everything was fed into that real what situation was the plane was in, and you would see on screens everything is real.
Ajay sir, Rakul, great to see you. From me, Hrishikesh, and everybody who's watching, listening. Great to see a film on the airline life and a lot more.
Thank you so much.
I'm not going to ask you the cliched question about what you do during turbulence. But what do you like to do in a flight? I mean, some people like to watch movies. I'm talking about not
Long
just
flight.
a domestic flight,
Yeah.
but like a
Yeah, I mean,
cross-border flight. What do you like to do?
domestic flights
Too short.
Yeah. I sleep on domestic flights.
I watch some movies, have a couple of drinks, I sleep, and then I wake up, and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Watch a lot of movies
Yeah.
for me. Enjoy the flight food because I like flight food when it's international.
Yeah, I
flight.
also like.
Yeah, and then also I have this habit of timing myself. It's very bad, but I'll be like, okay, if I'm landing there at this time, I should sleep this many hours so that I don't have a jet
I
lag.
also like to do that.
Yeah, I do that so that I'm productive when I land. I don't get jet lagged.
Has the hostess ever woken you up and said, Mr. Devgn,
We're landing.
we've landed? Oh, we're landed.
No, not
No.
we've landed.
Wake up and they said, please eat your meal, please eat your meal. And I was like, my mother is not waking me up for food.
Is there a memorable film that you've seen on flights? Because these days the catalogs are amazing. The music is amazing.
I don't remember a memorable film, but I've seen a lot of films on flight, so that's why I don't remember which I've seen on flight and which I've not. But yeah, I've seen a lot of films on flight, and that's the only best part on flight.
Yeah. Lots of films.
Do you remember anything that you've seen? A lot of people say that. I saw it on a flight, I landed, my
No, but
life
that's
changed.
when we watch films all the time. You're consuming content all
You
the
don't
time.
remember which one you
Don't
see on flight.
remember, yeah.
And do you use the headphones they give you on the flight, or do you carry your own? Like some people carry their own.
No, I use the headphones.
I know AB, for example, your friend Abhishek Bachchan, he carries his own.
Yeah, he's a geek.
Yeah.
he's
I'm
a
not
tech
that
guy.
tech. This thing.
Ajay sir, there was a flight in 2015, the Qatar Airways one. Is it inspired from that? They were actually flying from Qatar, Doha to Kerala, and they were diverted and things like that. Because you do say it's inspired from real life.
Yeah, but it's not Qatar Airways. It was some other
Some
airways
other
I wouldn't want to name.
Sure.
But yeah, it was during the 2015 incident, the Kochi flight.
And how many air traffic controllers, how many captains did you talk to? I mean, it must be so interesting.
We
watching these people,
had a captain on board who was guiding us completely through. We had a lot of conversations with the ATC people, and when we put up the set, we called them also. We showed them. We went to the ATC to have a look. So there was a lot of detailed work done. So when you see the film also, I think we are very, very close to authenticity.
Yeah.
Even the way the cockpit machinery worked, and because we had all genuine equipment there. So that's something we try to maintain.
I've always seen lady captains, and I felt very inspired. Even when they take their one trolley bag and they're walking, the whole uniform is almost like a Fauji or a cop uniform that serve as in single.
It's a very cool uniform.
It's
Yeah.
damn cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever always felt that way about lady
Yeah,
captains?
I think any uniform just makes you feel so cool, and it's just so much. There's a style in it. There's a dignity and pride. That your walk changes, the way your attitude changes, and a sense of pride that comes in the moment you step into a uniform. So yeah.
And you got all the stars and everything made authentically. What is on your
Yeah, everything was designed properly.
I want to talk a little bit about the music and the tracks. I mean, Jasleen is such a fabulous, talented
She's done
person.
a great job, and
amazing.
I wanted the tracks which suited the film because they're more of a background score in the film.
Correct.
And they had to go with the way I've shot the film also, and where it was required exactly. So I think both the tracks she's done a very good job.
Yeah, you know, one is of course the track in which Arijit is singing, but there's one which is just sound. The fall, you know, and you know, there's somebody with a very pronounced Malayali accent who's got it, you know, it's very atmospheric. I just love it. You know, I've been tripping on that one.
Yeah, so that's something which is the background of the main sequence of the film.
Wow, that's amazing. You know, often we just end up talking about the captains and you know, what happened with them in these films. I mean, there have been films even in the West where you know, they've landed on lakes and things like that. But also what's important, Rakul, is what the survivors or the people who are the passengers have gone through. And, you know, even the little bit we can see in the trailers and the songs, that has been captured very, very beautifully. So I'd like you to talk a little bit, Rakul, and you, sir, about, you know, what passengers go through in turbulence and, you know, how you recaptured that.
Most of the time, the passengers don't even know what situations happen in the cockpit. They're the last ones to know. I mean,
they keep the information from them so that not to create that.
Yeah, they should not be panicking. So also, like I've spoken to a lot of captains also, and so many times it happens that there is a situation in the cockpit which is handled, but the moment that situation arises, they are in a situation in a fix because anything can go, you know, anyways. When it is very drastic, that is when the passengers do come to go. But so many times we just think it's just a turbulence, but you don't know what the atmosphere is in the cockpit.
Yeah. Rakul, the fact that these courtroom scenes, and it's so different because it's not like a regular courtroom. Is this like what they have in an airline investigation? Is that the way that it's done? Because it just looks infinitely cool.
Yeah, it's more private.
Yes.
It's more private.
Yeah.
But obviously, I mean, I've enhanced it a little aesthetically. But it's usually more private.
Can you tell me what Boman plays and what Mr. Bachchan plays? Mr. Bachchan obviously is a lawyer.
He's not a lawyer.
He's not. Okay.
For that you need to see.
Okay, it's a spoiler.
You
won't go there.
Baman plays the owner of the airlines. So that's what Baman is doing, and he's done a fabulous job. I mean, the way he's got little nuances in his performance, he's fabulous.
And Akanksha plays your wife. Is that it?
She plays my wife.
And there's also Angira.
Angira actually plays the lawyer, I would say.
I see. Yeah, and those courtroom scenes are never easy to do. And when you're doing
I don't call it a courtroom scene. It's an investigation, I would say. It happens in a kind of a room.
Because that dialogue writing, sir, has to be very crisp.
Yes.
It's very good.
That's one of the key dramas of the film also. And the film is basically has a lot of mystery in the first half. That what happened, why, and what is the reason for the pilots to do what they did. Okay, it's quite questionable, and feels also wrong to a point. And my character is also very arrogant. Doesn't listen to people, takes his own calls, right or wrong, you don't know. And then later, gradually, how everything is revealed, that what calls he took and why he took and what was the reason behind it, were they right or were they wrong.
Do you use glycerin to cry? Because I would imagine that if Mr. Bachchan comes and screams at me.
No, I anyways use glycerin to cry.
No, but he just do such a fabulous job, you know, because those are very intense scenes, isn't it? The ones between you and him and things like that. You want to comment on that? Because, you know, you're a fabulous actor.
As a director, I would say she's done a fabulous job. I mean, performing in front of Mr. Bachchan and that kind of conflict, but she's done a great job.
You know, everybody will ask you, obviously, producer, come director, this, that. I want to ask you about early lessons. I always feel that the lessons I learned in school still teach me a lot of things. I mean, I know you assisted Shekhar back in the day. Do you remember any of the lessons that you learned in those early days?
Lots. The biggest lesson he's taught me is to have patience.
Yeah.
What he always said is that a director is never a director if he doesn't have patience.
Wow.
I've seen him.
This is doing Master Mr. India, that door. Huh?
Yeah, just after that, maybe a little. So, yeah.
Have you got any constructive advice like that from directors you work with, which just stays in your head?
I think, I mean, besides the advice, things that I've learned from directors, like like Ajay sir, for example, to keep reinventing yourself, to constantly try to up your game, you know, whether it's, and for your own self, not to prove it to anybody, but because you like to be a better version, you know, you like to challenge yourself, you like to wake up and go to work, and that passion and drive, I think is very important. And I think otherwise also learning is a very subconscious process that keeps happening when you work with people who are, you know, better than you and seasoned.
Or worse than you.
Yeah, or worse. Yeah, you just constantly keep
Both
learning
ways.
on what to do and what not to do.
You know, I know that cinema technology has evolved a lot. When you shoot large-scale sequences, there are drones from on top and this and that cover scale and largesse. But when you're presented in a small room like that cockpit, I'm just wondering how you go about shooting that business. I mean, it's like, I'm sure you had multiple cameras.
Yeah, but that was tough. That was tough because I wanted the camera moves. I wanted that largeness, what you say. You wanted to capture the emotion without letting the claustrophobia feeling go out of it. So it was something we had to create in a very, very different manner. And I had practically a lot of cameras inside a small cockpit, which was the size of a real cockpit. And it wasn't even that you could open one side and put in cameras and things like that. It was like a cockpit.
Like they always say that even for an actress, the cameraman has to be one of your best friends as far as colleagues are concerned.
Yeah.
Like Asim, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your takeaways in your dialogues with him during the courtroom scenes, during the flight scenes, for example?
No, I'll just say that I had a very good rapport with Asim sir, very, very good. And I happened to do Thank God, another film with him simultaneously. We were shooting Runway and Thank God with him. And very funnily, he would call me Nikka Paji on set. So like, Sachikal Paji, like that, you know. So he would just, he's like, I'll frame like this, I'll write like that. So he's...
Do you have a pet name for Rakul, or is it just Rakul?
No, Rakul only.
But you guys are fantastic. Dede Brother is such a beautiful film.
Thank you, yeah.
What a fantastic film. And you must have had lots of fun doing that.
Yeah.
Which is why you must have said that, boss, let's, repeat
It was
this
fun.
conversation.
Shooting London, good locations we shot in actually, London and Manali.
Sorry, just another educative piece. Why Runway 34? Explain that.
Because the whole film revolves, so runway is numbered according to the degree of the runway. It's runway 34 is like at an angle of 340 degrees, and the opposite side would be runway 16 or something, if I'm right. 16, that is 160 degrees or things like this. So in the whole film, the whole question is that he chooses runway 34, which is supposed to be not chosen. It is supposed to be a disastrous runway, and towards the end you come to know why did he choose. Was it a mistake, or why did he choose that runway? There's a mystery to it also.
Who was it? Just the dialogue writer, or was there some improvisation in that Jalane wali line? It's a fantastic line. It's like,
no, that's the character. Yeah, we worked on that character.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
it starts.
But that's the character. That's the character. He's fab at his job. He's one of the best pilots, but he loves breaking rules.
Was it in the script, or did you improvise on it?
It is in the script. We worked on the script a lot. So we worked for a few months on the script.
No, my question actually is, do you allow for change in dialogue post the paper thing on set? Or do you say, okay, ye hai?
Allow means in the sense,
you allow your actors or you yourself to play with the lines?
Not much, but yeah, there is scope for improvisation.
But if it's a punchline, you say we've got to keep a punchline.
Exactly, and the actors don't change that any which ways.
Yeah, sure. I like this whole thing of a mentor and a bit of a student. Even in our profession, when you see somebody established, you turn around and say, boss, he's the master of their game. And I feel, Rakul, that your character has that with Ajay sir's character.
Yeah.
Whereby, there's a bit of admiration. Yeah, this is the cool
Absolutely,
guy.
yeah.
And things like that,
Yeah, the trailer has that line where I say, it's an honor to fly with you, Captain. That's because you've heard of his stories, and there'll always be some amazing people in their profession, right? So you'll know the aviation stories of this captain is great, and of his tales of whatever difficult situations maybe she had heard. So yes, she's very inspired by Captain Vikrant, and then what happens you'll know on 29th.
Yeah, of course. Flying and the aviation industry itself is so fascinating. I mean, if you look at the Air Force, if you look at what private flying is all about, have you always been interested in that? Storytelling.
I've always been fascinated in flying. Yeah, but have I always been fascinated to tell a story about aviation?
No, you're fascinated about flying. You yourself.
I am.
Yeah,
I am.
You are.
I am. I am. The whole. It's a different world altogether, and that's what I keep saying also. So, it's a very cool job. I mean, looks the uniform like we spoke about, but the mental state of a pilot every time he flies is very. It's not that easy because one small error, may it be human or technical or whether you really don't know what to do. I mean, like this captain was telling me, is like whenever there's something wrong in the cockpit, the co-pilot looks at the pilot. But the pilot looks on his left and there's a mirror where he looks at himself that you're the only one who can take the final call.
Yeah.
So it's not that easy.
And Rakul, flight hostess, an air hostess friend of mine was telling me about how much the human body goes through when they fly abroad. They do these rosters. Of course, now a lot of airlines have policies where they give a day off and things like that. So it's obviously a very high pressure kind of job in that aspect. As far as the stunts are concerned, I mean, look at your background. I mean, look at your pedigree. Your dad, yourself, this, that. Do you let your stunt dada, your action coordinator, because these days a lot of foreigners have come into that department, do their thing, or do you actively get involved in the stunts also in the action?
It depends. Sometimes I'm really involved and I design my own stunts. Sometimes it depends who the director is and who the producer is and what understanding we have. So many times they tell me that you know better about this, so why don't you work on it yourself with them or yourself? So
in this one, were you just looking at the larger picture, or did you get into that aspect?
I get into everything. I get into everything, every technical part of it. Yeah.
As far as Carrie Minati is concerned, he's a YouTube sensation. Huh? So a lot of the Gen Z people want to know what he's doing in it. Is he just the gamer on the
just
well, if it's a spoiler,
the entire young generation should watch the film.
He's a rage. He's on fire.
I know.
Have you ever been in a flight simulator? A lot of people have these games now, Rakul.
Yeah. No, we shot in a
lot of equipment we got
it was the right sized cockpit. The panel was real. Every button, everything was real.
But have you ever been in a flight simulator? Like, you go abroad in this BMW museum and all that. They put you in a Formula 1 kind of simulator. You've done that before?
I've done Formula 1.
You have, huh?
Yeah.
Enjoyed it?
Yeah.
So you're saying that cockpit was actually like that? There was also.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
My question to you was, next question was the hydraulics. Because when you see that plane move the way it is, I'm wondering how you did that.
Yeah, and putting something about 20-25 tons on hydraulics is quite a.
So everybody was shaking inside.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, it was moving. It was moving in every which way.
Wow.
Even going like this, front and down, and the cockpit, we had all actual equipment, and they were all fed in whatever you would see on screen. All the machinery worked, as in if you're on 35,000 feet, and the wind speed is this, it's headwind. Everything was fed into that. Real what situation was the plane was in, and you would see on screens everything is real.
Wow. How quick are you at casting? When your casting department person says, lawyer, can we have her?
Lawyer, Mr. Bachchan's role, I could never think about anybody else.
Yeah, obviously.
Rakul I had worked with, and this is really performance oriented film. It is not a film where it's frivolous or anything of that sort. So it really required seriousness. It required characters needed to look very, very real. So it took a little time for casting, but it didn't take too much time.
And I mean the other characters. You know that you want Rakul.
Yeah.
You know that you want Mr. Bachchan. You want Bomsy, but the other characters also.
We took time to cast. No, we took time.
So you do ask for more screen tests.
A lot of screen tests. They should look real. You see people in the ATC in the film. You see people on ground. They will all, look as if they are characters. They're not, part of a film.
Again, I'm going to come back to sound because I love it. Amar Mohali has done your background score.
Fabulous background.
What do you do for a background score in a film like this, which has
it needs a lot of background score.
Tell me about your sittings with him. If you went into the studio.
But the main thing, we used to sit practically every day. And apart from the other briefs, my brief was that I do not want to feel the background score. I want to feel the drama.
Wow.
So, I don't want to feel that, I can hear a background score.
Wow.
I don't want a very loud background score, but it should give me a lot of tension. So I really believe in a background score. Also in my effects also, I really believe on those lows and those rumbles and, which are not jarring to your ears. They create the atmosphere, but they feel that they're a part of the film. The film also looks silent to a point, but there is background score. So I wanted to be in that.
What is the most defining character of Tanya Albuquerque?
Most defining character is that she's very righteous. I think she's a rule follows the rules to the T.
And this captain
is a rule breaker.
Is a rule breaker.
Yeah, they're opposites.
Likewise, Mr. Bachchan and you, yeah? Those characters. Lovely. Can't wait to see the film. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so
Always
much.
a fan, Ajay sir. And Rakul, you're lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.